If you don't know, I would say TikTok's most hated couple, but I think it's the internet's most hated couple. It's actually wild how Brenay and Tim have been able to transcend TikTok fame and manage to make themselves everywhere.
How did you feel when you heard those words? She lost her husband and the father of her children because of you.
I came to court with facts. I came with facts.
And the jury agreed with her.
It's easy to paint out a villain in someone's story.
Everybody talking about and thinking about Brenay and Tim. From TikTok to YouTube to Law and Crime to the real news. Everybody managed to know Brenay and Tim. Like when I tell y'all, I as a gal, I do not use nobody's TikTok. I have a TikTok account. I don't use it. I don't open TikTok. And on the rare occasion that I do open TikTok, they immediately show me an ad that my obviously old ass is by. Every time I open TikTok, TikTok is telling me that TikTok think I is a big bitch. Because TikTok is show me nothing but fitness equipment and I buy it. I have a garage full of TikTok equipment I barely use, except my vibration plate. That slap. I use that all the time. Or at least I should because my back hurts. But anyway, back to the point. I don't use nobody TikTok, but I know about Brenay and Tim. I don't remember how they first came to my radar, but I have been following. Here's the gag about Brenay and Tim. Cheat every day. Every day. Every day man is cheat on his wife. Every day woman is help man. Me say help man break up home. We will discuss that when we discuss the actual civil suit my girl will face. But I said it's the same people is cheat every day. But it's something about the lawlessness. It's something about the lawlessness in which Brenay and Tim is cheat that have people fucking invested in hating them. Although I will say, people seem invested in hating Brenay more than they seem invested in hating Tim or Brenay and Tim. And that's a problem to me. I understand my girl has demonstrated moral bankruptcy, okay? I understand that. I am not defending your girl. I'm not saying that people don't have justified reason to have a fucking problem with her, but I will say, I do think it's disproportionate how it's given to her over given to him. I do think that there's a lot of elements of people's hatred for old girl and how they be talking about her that's motivated by what she look like. There's certain narratives that people has put out there into the ether because every time I come across a random bitch talking about Brenay, it's a gal trying to make fun of her titties. And let me tell y'all something. As somebody whose titties also bigger than their head, I don't appreciate that shit. I don't appreciate it. And a lot of the bitches who's be making the jokes shouldn't appreciate it neither. Cause y'all, we saying where it's a spectrum. Brenay is the extreme of a spectrum. And I on that same spectrum, so y'all can stop your shit. Don't say nothing about that gal titties around here. Even the fact that she's have a bra off, she's be wearing them out. That's subversive. If Brenay wasn't a morally bankrupt wench, she would be revolutionary. But alas, now here's the teeth. Please tell me why I thought Brenay was broke and that's why she represented herself in court. Come to find out, this gal making $25,000 a month and spending it all on food. And that could have been avoided if she had today's sponsor, Rocket Money. That's right, your girl got a sponsor in this Rocket Money because I ain't trying to end up like Brenay, and neither should you. Rocket Money helps me get my life together by making sure I don't have every streaming service known to man and a bunch of unwanted subscriptions. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that not only helps you cancel subscriptions you've forgotten about, they also help you lower your bills that you know are too high and manage your money better. And if you're like me or Brenay, you need the help. I love using Rocket Money because they safely and securely identify recurring charges and cancel anything unwanted. This is really great if you're like me and try to avoid looking at your transaction history because you don't want to see the error of your ways. You can even cancel from within the app with just a couple of taps. No need to worry about customer service calls. Rocket Money has helped save customers up to $740 a year when you use all of the app's premium features, with over $880 million saved in canceled subscriptions. Go to rocketmoney.com/Olay and Chill, or click the link in the description box to get started for free. And you can unlock even more features with premium. So that's again, go to rocketmoney.com/Olay and Chill. Thank you for sponsoring the video, Rocket Money. Let me give y'all the run through of Brenay and Tim, or I should say Brenay, Tim, Akira, and Devon. I'll give y'all the whole story as I know it. And then I'm going to give y'all my thoughts about the lawsuit as a lawyer. Okay? Because I thought to myself, you know who's a lawyer? You will lie me. I say, let me go look at the elements of this law and go see how it actually measures up to the evidence and what happened at trial and whether or not I think the verdict was fair. Let me go actually look, not just based on my opinion and how it feels to me, but as an attorney. So I shall do that at the end. All right, so boom. First thing you need to know is that this story takes place in North Carolina. That is relevant because of the fuck-ass laws we're going to be dealing with by the end of this story. Now, this is the story as I know it. Brenay and Tim went to high school together and apparently used to date in high school, and they broke up in high school because Tim cheated on her with her twin sister.
You need to leave.
Let me start with the first thing I do understand about Brenay and Tim, just based off that information, and then what I don't understand just based off that information. It's clear to me that for whatever reason, Tim is it for Brenay. Like, that's the she liked from time. Like, she look at him as for whatever reason, a prize, she really into him. She thinks she's in one of those, like, you know, when a TV show, when the audience is made to believe that a couple is endgame, and so we don't care what kind of fuck they do to the people they dating temporarily because we waiting for them to get together. It's the way no one give a fuck that it's trifling of Elena to go date Stephen brother because people preferred Elena and Damon together. It's like that in Brenay's mind. It's not like that in reality. That's actually the problem. But in Brenay's mind, in Brenay and Tim's mind, that's the case. And I also want to say this. Because people don't find Brenay desirable and they find Akira desirable, she's the more conventionally or whatever. Like, because that's how people feel, people love to put it out there as fact that Tim only with Brenay for the money. She promised him the money. She's gonna buy him this, da-da-da-da-da-da. It's just the money and XYZ. And now that she don't have the money, he ain't gonna be with her and XYZ. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all guys stop projecting with y'all. Like, I'm sure that Tim is a lousy fucking He's a lousy piece of shit. That has been demonstrated to us in 9 million ways that I will present to y'all. I believe that. So I believe that there probably is some element of, oh, he's a and use women, because he's obviously a user in general. But the implication that that man don't like her, ain't attracted to her, didn't genuinely want to fuck her, is crazy and a projection of all y'all making. Because not only was the boy fucking with the girl from in high school, from long before there was any money or fame or anything like that, he's so into, obviously, this kind of gal, regardless if she do it for y'all, she do it for him on the level that he's one fuck her twin sister. He won't do it twice. He want two of them. You understand that? That they do it for him. Might not have to do it for you, but he into it. Brenay and them look like. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Sorry to be the one to break that. But anyhow, I do understand that they think about this situation based on just that high school information. But the thing that I don't understand is how the fuck you get to want a man who's fuck your twin sister on you? Like, why is that not, like, I think of all the things I hate people for, or I hate, like, by the time years have passed and you get clarity as you grow, I understand when you're in the middle, if you're a teenager, whatever. If a man would fuck your, you had a boyfriend at 15 or whatever the fuck age you was as a teen, and he fucked your twin sister. How is it possible that by the time you a 30-year-old woman, you don't look back and think, what a fucking piece of shit, eh?
Damn.
And I'd be surprised if you even have a relationship with your own sister, because that's a whole nother story on like trifling, toxic, horrible dynamics. I could only imagine what kind of home Brenay was raised in that these kind of things happen. Because I want y'all to understand these are not normal things. The idea, like the kind of things that are floating around, I'll tell you the kind of things we know to be fact and the kind of things that are floating around that lots of people believe, but I'm not prepared to present as fact. You know what kind of household you had to be raised in for you to have a boyfriend and your twin sister to fuck him on you? Do you understand that? And on top of that, what people speculate is that up until now, in the present day world that we in recent time, as big grown adults, that Tim was also still fucking her twin sister. And another thing that people speculate, I am not prepared to say that I believe this. And I'm not saying I don't believe it because there's not facts or any evidence or good reason why people believe it. There's something about me when stuff started to get too sensational, too like fan fiction, getting carried away. You know what I mean? Like, people like extra salaciousness. So they've come up with this, and I have no position on this. People believe the twin sister has children that people believe is actually Tim babies.
Are you serious right now, bro?
So imagine a world, let's just, like imagine what kind of household they was raised in. That not only this the kind of stuff they do to each other as sisters, but the fact that it's my understanding that Brenay's family likes Tim, like Brenay's mom likes Tim or rooting for Brenay and Tim. And in a world, what kind of mother would root for this relationship, would root for like this based on what we knowing and we learning about this man? I'm telling you, them girls was raised in a fucked up home. And I know that. That much I know. That's not been the focus of anybody's discussion, but that much I know. But anyway, so back in high school, Brenay and Tim used to date, but Tim cheated on her with her sister and they break up and they go on their separate ways, gone to college. In college, Tim meets a woman named Akira and he marries Akira and has children with Akira. Brenay meets a man named Devon, who actually is Tim's cousin. We don't know for sure whether or not they're biological cousins, but it was raised as cousins. They consider themselves cousins, so whatever. She meets Tim's cousin, Devon, and they get married. Now, because Devon and Tim are cousins, they hanging out as friends, and so their spouses start hanging out, and they become a group, right? Like, couple dating XYZ. So they become friends as a group. And Brenay and Akira apparently get very close. Like, they believe that they're best friends. Akira believes that this woman is her best friend. So when you look, Brenay tells Tim and Akira that Devon is abusive and that she needs to leave the house. And Akira was not comfortable with the idea of letting Brenay in her home for good reason. How much married woman you know when another grown-ass woman living in her home, right? Akira also didn't even know that Tim and Brenay used to go in high school. They never even told her that, which in and of itself tells you moving foul. Some name, because why are you keeping that a secret? But off just common sense, Akira wasn't into that. But because Tim advocating on behalf of Brenay, based on what Brenay's saying, is like, oh, she getting abused. We have to let her in the house or whatever. And so Akira wanted to be a good woman, lets her come stay in this house because, again, it's her best friend and she hearing that she in a domestic violence situation, according to Brenay. But when you check stock, Akira say soon as Brenay come in the house, Brenay in fucking booty shorts. So she went, and she say things was just very weird the way Brenay and Tim was carrying on. And a lot of what the audience and the fans apparently had a problem with. What Brenay's claim to fame on TikTok even is that I think she used to make duck nails and stuff like that. Must be relatable bitch content. I don't know what y'all be following people on TikTok for, but apparently duck nails and whatnot. And there was a thing where she had raised money for a breast reduction and then she ain't never do it and was late. And she was like, she ain't never do it. She ain't get the people the money back. And she basically was like, fuck y'all. Like, what y'all keep bothering me about this for? But people used to like her and she used to make content with Devon, her husband, but Devon was apparently like camera shy, never used to be into it like that. But by the time they started becoming friends as a group, Tim and Akira with Devon and Brenay, when you look, Brenay was making more content with just Tim by itself. Tim content. And so people start to say, hold on. Come like you only friend up with y'all, only want to be friends as a group so you could actually be closer to Tim.
That's suspicious.
So now this is what they find out later. I don't know what the order is and all of this is in the next thing. Apparently, we learned this from Devon and the court case and all these different places. It's before Brenay and Tim even gone in Akira house to do fuck. They had already started fucking in Brenay and Devon house. She fully fucking this man, her alleged best friend husband, in her marital home where her husband could hear it. And Devon ain't only just say this online. Devon gone in court and testified to it. And what's so funny? I get ahead of myself, but what's so funny about when he testified to it, Lord, again, I getting ahead of myself, but I can tell y'all this now, but we can get back to it. Brenay had the nerve to go represent herself in court. Herself, no lawyer, she in court. So she cross-examining her husband, testifying about her affair. So when Devon say, you was in this house fucking this man, she was like, allegedly. He was like, no, not allegedly. I was there, I heard you. Like, this girl... Lord, but before we get to that, anyway, so what they say is, this girl in the house with her husband there, grinding this man and having the man's child come bring them like a wet rag to wipe up. Her husband testified that he hear all this. Let me tell y'all something. Brenay's abuse claims against Devon have not been substantiated in any way, and no one seems to believe them. Everybody seems to have a universal consensus that gal make that up just so she could play victim to get into Tim and Akira house, so she could essentially seduce them. You know what I'm saying? I can tell y'all why I know that I know true. There's no world in which you could have an abusive husband, a man who has beat you, or abuse you in any fashion, and you would feel comfortable fucking another man in that abusive man house. And are you crazy? You can't. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Let me tell you something. Jesus Christ himself would put his foot through your chest if you did some shit like that in his house. What you talking about? What? The knowledge that they was fucking in the house with Devon there is proof to me that Brenay probably has beat him. Have to be you in an abusive situation, sir, where this woman could come in the house and do that to you. So, child, anyhow. So apparently, not only they doing that, Akira find all the receipts. She starts suspecting about the affair, figuring it out from time, but she ain't say nothing. So she started just, collecting the evidence, putting the camera in the house, all the works. My girl turned fully into a spy. So when you look, my girl say she have video of Brenay giving this man a lap dance in her house. They talking about fucking, she talking all about how she want to do this, do that, do this, do that.
That was really bad.
And then on top of that, once Akira figure out all this and Tim go be with Brenay, this is the thing that have everybody hating Brenay. It's levels to why people hate Brenay the way they hate Brenay. It's the moral bankruptcy of everything, right? First of all, the first thing we need to understand is that Brenay have a husband. So before we even get to what she doing in Akira and Tim home, we got to address what she doing in her home. Brenay having an affair on her own husband, which in and of its fucking self is moral bankruptcy, right? Boom. But then the person you having an affair on your husband with is his cousin. So that's another level to moral bankruptcy.
You're an insane, degenerate piece of filth.
The person that you having an affair with is not only your husband cousin and your alleged best friend husband, but is a who fuck your twin sister in high school.
What the fuck?
And maybe still currently fucking your twin sister, and maybe is the father of his kids. But even without that last part, you see where we already is. So now, the man that you having the affair with is not only your husband cousin and your best friend husband, but you lie on your husband to say he's an abuser so that your best friend could let you into her house so you could start seducing her husband in her fucking house. In her fucking house. And then you don't just go your way. You don't just take the woman man. You don't just take her husband out the house. No. Now you want to be around her children. She get the call to tell you don't be around her children. You still around her children. You showed up to their fucking graduation. You getting her arrested, starting altercations with her. You shoving her Grammy. Yes, shoving her Grammy. Yes, Brenay going to get into a physical altercation with the girl Grammy. And hold on, I forget to mention this. Before she even gone away, take the girl husband. The girl, Akira, didn't feel comfortable with this girl in her house. She could see what the fuck going on. She see a girl ass out. She done peep game. So she want this girl out of the house, and this girl refusing to leave her house.
I am going to explode in 6 seconds.
Akira better than me, cause Brenay would have come up missing.
When I'm through with you, they'll never find your body.
What you mean you refuse to leave her house? What do you mean? You refuse to leave this woman's house. You in this woman's house, playing auntie, playing TT to her children, playing like you was a friend, fucking her husband. And then when she tell you to get the fuck out of her house, you bout no? You bout no? You getting buck and then you get a lockup? Let me tell you, I'd kill you. Listen, you done with get me locked up? Let me give you something to get me locked up about. So then on top of that, they on social media, basically taunting the girl. Not just like taunting her implicitly by having their couples content. That's just the disrespect of it all. That's what gets the internet into it. Because the internet know. Because again, I told y'all, Brenay was documenting the fact that there was a whole friend group. So the internet knows that Akira, who he was passing off as your best friend, they know that's her husband. And on top of that, Devon also on TikTok letting the chopper sing, telling everybody we're going down. Without Akira even needing to say nothing, everybody saw them saying, oh my God, you raggedy bitch.
You raggedy bitch.
And so was on her ass. And instead of shutting the fuck up, I think, let me tell you something. Brenay Kanad is a testimony to what happens when you refuse to shut the fuck up. She's actually a testament to what happens when you don't have real content to make.
Already dead.
A lot of creators in general need to take into consideration, but especially a lot of people on TikTok, it's like you're selling you. You're not making content or like something external that find value in. You ain't teaching them nothing. You're not doing anything. You're not there because you funny or whatever it is. They're buying into you. And the downside of that, if you're morally bankrupt, always in general, if people don't truly find value in your content or what you make, but what they were invested in is the idea of you being a person they trust or you being relatable, or they like your dynamic with your husband, they like your friends, they like this, what you selling them is you. When they realize that you are a horrible person or somebody they don't want to buy into, you're fucking luck buck. And that's what happened to her. You've built this huge following on TikTok. I think it's important to always remember, like, TikTok followers are not worth what other followers are elsewhere. They're just not. Like, because because the reality is how TikTok works is it's an algorithm that people are just serving up to you or whatever. So people might see your things, they follow passively, but they're not invested in that creator. They ain't going to go search for them. They're not looking for them off that app. You see what I'm saying? That's a whole nother conversation about the internet and social media and content creation, and y'all ain't asked me that. Let me get back to it. She's built up this following on TikTok, but they're there because they like her. They've invested in her. They think she's nice. They think she's relatable. She thinks she's funny. And that's also the like thin line between how people is do you when they like you versus they don't. Because liked her. She had her big titties and her duck nails and they loved her. As soon as you step out of bounds, now they can't wait to make a mockery of you. But because that's the kind of content that she is make, that's all she has to make. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't make content out of my significant other. My daily life is not what y'all follow or subscribe me for. You know what the fuck I doing in my house. That's her content. So she probably feels no choice but to do that, to just incorporate this boy into where her husband used to be in her content, especially because Tim way more interested in being seen and being in front of the camera from what we could tell. And remember, I tell y'all, it's very clear in her mind. You could tell she have it in her mind, like she in some kind of teenage rom-com that she's starring in. And you could imagine it. And her little dynamics, you can understand, these people who live in Raleigh, North Carolina, like, you know what I'm saying? They're nowhere. They're in Raleigh, North Carolina. So for her, she's the big thing. She have 1 million followers or whatever on TikTok, right? And this dynamic between her, Tim, Akira, and Devon, she's the star. You know what I mean? Already having that kind of main character energy. You could tell she believes she's starring in like a rom-com where like, if this your end game, it's do no wrong. She figure like, don't care about what Akira and Devon and these people feel. She think they gonna go for like her and Tim little, oh look, we making couples content, we cute, look, we was always meant to be XYZ. But none to go so. People wasn't fucking with that, none at all. And the problem with Brenay, again, to add the layers of why people hate her the way she do, is she start to carry on like the victim. And let me just say this. Brenay is only the extreme version of what we see all the time. Because I promise you, side chicks and mistresses since the dawn of time have been complicit in affairs. And somehow, even when they win, when they get the man, they take the man, they marry the man, they have children with the man, they always be resentful towards the original woman. I know this kind of dynamic from my born, okay? I know this kind of dynamic from my born. They managed to still be the ones resentful. They was a part of doing the fuck. They the ones who scorned somebody else, but somehow they still think they is the victim. Because the problem is, people is want their cake and eat it too. You want to be selfish and you want to do what you want and you want to have the thing you want at all costs, but you somehow still don't want to be talked about or received in the manner that comes with that. So you don't take this woman husband. There's just no way, no matter how you spin that. But I telling you, this is the side chick Bible. They do this all day, every day. They know good and well what they do. Think about the first season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And remember how Jocelyn used to be carrying on with Mimi? Think about that. Jocelyn fucking Mimi that Mimi been with 12 years, have a baby with. And every time Jocelyn is the one mad or grieved at Neely. Jocelyn is the one feel like Mimi doing something to her. She's the one feel like Mimi get me kicked out the house. So now she coming in the house to call Mimi Molly the maid. Like, meanwhile, but she get you kicked out the house. You ain't supposed to be in the house. That's her man. But that's how side chicks is be. So I said it to say, no matter how you could spin it. Like, listen, we can get to this in terms of the legal implications on what I think legally, whether or not one should be held responsible for home wrecking or taking somebody man or breaking up a home and all of that. We can talk about that separate in a moment because that's a different kind of conversation. But as far as just common sensically, okay? There's no way for you to not be in the fucking wrong. It's a different conversation whether or not you was in the wrong as Tim or whether or not you should be being held responsible as the true villain and all this attention should be on you versus Tim. That's a different conversation. But there's no way you can't be in the wrong. This man was married. You was friends with his wife. You was in her house fucking her husband. There's nothing else you need to say, could come up with to make you the victim. And that's what's important. Brenay is not somebody who's just a villain or mad that she's a villain or being unfairly portrayed as a villain. Brenay is somebody actively trying to portray herself as a victim. And that's the thing that the internet don't like. She's somebody actively trying to disparage Devon, trying to disparage Akira. And then on top of that, from what everybody can see, wanting to be Akira. She won't buy the same car Akira got. She won't start wearing her nail like Akira. She won't start doing XYZ like Akira. And so it comes off like, girl, you won't be Akira. It's Tim you want or it's Akira you want. But you let her tell it. She's the victim, okay? She's the victim. And everybody maligning her name or whatever. And granted, I will give grace to this. Don't know what it is to be dog powered by the internet. You don't understand what it is to be the main character on the internet if you've never had that happen to you. And it's easy for people to don't care. Brenay been getting dragged by the entire internet for 2 years, regardless of whether or not you feel like she's deserving of it or she's the reason and her own actions caused it and all that in terms of the situation. That's one thing. The still weight of being ganged on and jumped on and criticized and talked shit on by thousands and thousands of people for months and years is a lot. That will psychologically hurt a person. And at the end of the day, we could don't like the girl all we want. We could, of course, want to hold her accountable and should hold her accountable and give her all the criticism, constructive and otherwise, that you want to give her and all that and the next thing. But the girl still have to love herself. It's still her obligation to try to keep herself living with people and trying to preserve the girl mental health. So I'm sure 2 years of being talked on and stuff like that will make a person feel like the victim. You know what I mean? Feel angry, feel upset, feel this. And in doing all of that, it also makes you double down on doing shit. Because this is the real thing. The thing that hurt her the most in terms of the court of public opinion and the actual court that we soon talk about is that she was posting all this shit on the internet and she was like trying to make her and Tim look unbothered, like, oh, let's do dances while the internet hating on us and blah, 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 blah. And all that different stuff becomes fodder for the internet and ammunition for them to hate you and an ammunition for a court case soon to come that's making it worse. But the reality is that's what has happened when people choose to double down, when they feel like attacked by everybody, right? Like you see it all the time. Anytime there's some celebrity couple people don't like or some reality TV couple or whatever have you, people, they always feel the need to act like they more in love with each other or it brings them closer for a second because they feel attacked together. They feel like they in some kind of, fight. So that made her double down and dig her heels even deeper into this horrible relationship with this horrible who I do believe they've since now gotten married. Here's what makes to the beginning premise of why Brenay and Tim managed to be so followed and hated by the whole internet and why everybody talking about it. Like, what makes them different from other home-wrecking fuck-ass, okay? What makes them so special? And it's really less about what makes them special and more about what makes Akira special. Because, man, Akira say, you think you could take my fucking man and leave me with, I think she have 3 children, fam. I think it's 3 children. It might be, maybe it's 2, maybe it's a 3, but I'm sure it's multiple. She have multiple children for this. So she said, you think you could take my husband, leave me with multiple children, have my children calling you mom? Yes. Apparently, Brenay is pressed up trying to get these children to call her mom, showing up at the children event and shit after Akira done get a fucking court order and tell her don't have her ass there. She say, you think you could do all of this and make an ass of me online, have my husband doing TikTok dance for everybody who know me to see me for joke, to have me for a fucking puppy show? Oh, no, sir. No, sir. Not in North Carolina. Not in North Carolina. North Carolina is one of 6 antiquated ass states to have a law on the books that allows you to sue people for breaking up your marriage, for alienation of affection. I'm going to tell you all my initial thoughts about this law and what I think is fair, but then I'm going to tell you what the actual elements of the law are and what needed to be proved in court and what I think about the verdict based on the actual law. So based on my feelings, I think this is some antiquated bullshit. Like at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, I don't have no love for people who interfere in people's marriages. None. People who cheat on their spouses, unless, of course, if your spouse is abusive or some exigent circumstances or they treat you bad or it's totally you know what I mean? Unless, of course, there's some kind of exigent circumstances. But as a general rule of thumb, I don't got no love for people who cheat on their spouses or people who involve themselves in affairs with married people. I don't even like people who running around the place parading married people, even if those married people are technically separated. I ain't into that. That's why I don't like fucking, what's her name? Clarissa Shields with Papa, who's Remy Ma and Clarissa Shields. I can't stand her. Like, I can't stand her. You running around the place proudly with somebody else's husband who ain't even filed for fucking divorce. You know what? Now to be talking about it. Brenay and Clarissa Shields ain't much different. Remember when Remy Ma showed the DMs from Clarissa Shields befriending her, asking for advice on how to dress and this and the next thing? Now when you look, she with the woman husband, she trying to wear furs like the woman. She trying to rap all of a sudden. Girl, that woman, that's somebody who had ain't no good. Look for her. I said it the same. I don't have no love for them kind of people, and I believe they deserve all kind of judgment and being looked down upon and being stoned and all of that. But that's an entirely different conversation from whether or not a side chick or a side or anybody you're having an extramarital affair should be held responsible for what your spouse do. The entire premise of the law is something I don't agree with. Like the idea of holding somebody else responsible, blaming them for causing your spouse to fall out of love with you, that's ridiculous. It's your spouse who entered in a contract with you, with both the government and a higher power, if that's what you believe in. You see what I'm saying? It's your spouse who entered into that agreement with you. Can't nobody make your spouse cheat on you or fall out of love with you or do anything they ain't supposed to do. They put themselves in that position. Anything, any problem, like, don't get me wrong, that ain't me saying you can't hate that person. I think Akira have every reason to put her foot up Brenay ass, okay? To fucking hate Brenay till her dying breath. Brenay is still a trifling fuck ass bitch, and she betrayed Akira on numerous levels, not just by being the side chick, but again, they was friends. And you was in her house. There's so many different levels to it, so she have every reason to hate her. But do I think Brenay should, or anybody, the person someone's having an extramarital affair with, should be the person being held responsible as causing them to fall out of love with you? As the reason why? No fucking way. It's obvious that a horrible fucking piece of shit on its own. That's who should be held responsible. So, and again, this is not me saying I have an issue with Akira exercising her right to sue under this law. This is me telling you what I think about the law itself. I don't think the law should be on the books, period. Now, that is an entirely separate thing from what it should be under what the law is. And thus my initial thoughts when I heard Brenay was sued for this and then that Akira won and got $1.75 million was like, God damn. My first inclination is to feel like that's not fair because typically damages usually are supposed to be proportionate to damages lost. I don't think that Tim was in any way worth that to Akira, and I'm sure even in whatever therapy, XYZ, it don't add up to that. But that was my initial thoughts. That's my thoughts before looking at the law. Okay, looking at the law and what the law say as a lawyer. Now, let me tell y'all where Brenay shit out of luck. There are 3 key elements to the law that has to be proved in court. First, Akira would need to establish genuine love and affection. She had to prove that she had a real loving marriage before the interference. Then 2, she had to prove alienation, that the third party's wrongful, malicious, and intentional actions caused the love and affection to be destroyed or redirected. And then 3, damages. She had to show that she suffered actual harm, such as emotional distress, loss of income, or other financial losses. And to prove those things, she could show cards, text, social media, photos, notes showing love, testimony from friends, family. She could have her friends and family testify about the marriage's previous affection and evidence of this third party's romantic or sexual involvement. Those are the elements and what she could use to prove them. And let's talk about that separately before we talk about damages. The first thing, genuine love and affection. She had to show our marriage was real and loving before the interference. These were married people with multiple children who I'm sure she had a bunch of people to testify and say, oh, they love each other, they made these children, look at this, look at the vows, look at the wedding, XYZ. I'm sure there's an argument that one would have wanted to have been made, like a Brenay is saying, like, oh, their relationship was already, like, not in good shape and torn apart and XYZ. But here's the problem. Who the fuck is one saying that? First of all, Brenay walked her goofy ass in court and represented her fucking self. That was the stupidest shit she could have ever done. For a bunch of reasons that I think I'll talk about when I talk about the damages, how stupid it was that Brenay represented herself. What evidence would Brenay be able to present in court to say their marriage was a no good before? According to who, you? The fucking side bitch? According to what he tell you? Like, who did you have to, like, who besides you and him saying that? Who have a vested interest in that? Nobody. So the second thing, the third party's wrongful, malicious, and intentional actions caused the love and affection to be destroyed or redirected. Now, this is the thing that I was saying in terms of my own thought process, just generally in terms of the law, the premise that I disagree with, because I just don't think anybody you could say in fairness that somebody caused that. They're the reason that this person gone and cheat on you or their affections was redirected. But here's why I think Akira would have been able to and did prevail on this. It's the moving in the girl house. I think if they had an affair or something outside of XYZ, but it's the fact that you appear to create a lie, to move into a home, to start trying to seduce him. And she had videos of you giving her husband lockdowns, text messages of you promising him things, refusing to leave her house when she asked you to move out. It's that shit right there that says, no. There's some intentional, that ain't just like, oh, they're just having an affair. That's the thing that made it seem insidious, calculated. You see what I'm saying? Akira was able to show in court that this is a girl who created a friendship with her and got close to her and got into her house for the purposes of getting next to her husband because they had a previous relationship that was intentionally not disclosed to Akira. So that's why Akira can meet that element. So she done got 2 of the 3 elements. Now, we're going to talk about damages in 2 ways. We're going to talk about damages in terms of what Akira has to to show to meet the element. And then we're going to talk about damages in terms of what kind of damages can be given in this case. Akira had to show that she suffered actual harm as a result of this, that she suffered emotional distress, loss of income, any of these things. She had to show any of these things, but she was able to show all of these things. Akira showed that she ended up going through a serious depression, that she ended up in therapy, that she ended up having a miscarriage. Of course, remember, Brenay got her arrested at some point. She showed a million different levels of stress and problems and actual harm suffered. So she meets the element of showing like there was actual damages. And then that's on top of that now she doesn't have her husband in the home to help with the finances and help with everything. So Akira has met all three elements. Now, let me tell you, now let's talk about damages in terms of what's issued and how Brenay play her fucking self. The kind of damages that you usually can get are compensatory damages, which is reimbursement for like actual income loss, actual money this cost you. You would be showing them how much you lost and you would be getting that back, right? That's the kind of damages that I assume we were working with, which is why I initially thought Akira getting rewarded $1.75 million from Brenay was disproportionate. But child, then I go on and look at the law, and you actually can get punitive damages as well. Punitive damages are meant to punish especially egregious behavior. And Brenay, again, not only, you all need to understand this, they can award damages based on how much they believe you deserve to be punished. They don't like you. So in a case where you're accused of breaking up this woman's happy home, taking this woman's husband and leaving her to raise her children, and then trying to like infiltrate your life, you being told that you move into this woman, you befriended this woman so that you could get in her house, so that you could take her husband. And then after that, you start trying to force yourself on her children as some kind of mother presence. You taunting her and harassing her online for years on end. And then you roll your stupid fucking ass into court to represent yourself, which means the entire court that can decide you deserve to be punished is watching you be brazen and unlikable while Akira is presenting hundreds of pieces of evidence, texts, videos on videos on videos, testimony that you are a piece of fucking shit. You decide to be the person who cross-examining her. You want to be the lawyer. You want to be up there in front of the court, letting them see you brazenly not give a fuck. Ask this girl cross-examination questions about her miscarriage. Like, that was hard for you, wasn't it? That right there, that display of hubris. The court believe in punishing, let alone if they have the right is in the fucking suit. They believe in humbling you and feeling like, oh, you in respect the court and this is the next thing. And then you roll into court yourself carrying on like that. That's why they had already made up in their mind they was gonna show her ass when it was time for the damages. And then on top of that, Brenay walks out of the court and the first thing she say to the news reporters, like when they're like, oh, you owe $1.75 million to Akira, she's like, she'll never get anything. She'll never get it.
I won't pay a penny of the $1.5 million because she allows me to be with Tim.
Brenay said Akira would never see a single dollar of the $1.75 million. Those were her exact words.
And then she go on thinking she funny. She go on and make her first like deposit to Akira and all she do is $2. And when you look, when I tell you they put girl financial bank statements all over the fucking internet, it had everybody analyzing how much fast food my girl is eat every day. Oh, my chest. Oh, my chest. Before eventually, Brenay and Tim finally take themselves to Tamron Hall. Oh, Lord.
When did you start having feelings for each other?
Honestly,
because you moved in with him and his wife, right?
No, the headlines.
Okay,
not true.
Wait.
No. You need to shut the fuck up.
They really wasn't saying nothing. Tim was like, oh, I can't really say nothing because there's still a lawsuit and stuff. So I don't really, I just think it's unfair how Brenay is getting treated. And Brenay was like, oh, I know my truth and I didn't think it was fair because I came to court with facts. But girl, what facts you come with? What facts you come with? And eventually Tamron asked her, like, do you think that this was worth it? Do you think that this relationship was worth $1.75 million? And Brenay was like, no.
Was this love worth over $1 million if you have to pay it?
Honestly, no. It's not worth over $1 million.
Then she catch herself and she was like, no, but he's worth it. He's worth it, which doesn't make sense, right? Like,
but he's worth it is what I can say.
Can't say the relationship wasn't worth it, but he's worth it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. What they're asking you was taking this woman mine worth it? So it can't be both. It's one or the other. Brenay down by there. Like, if I was her, I'd flee the country. I promise y'all, I'd flee the country. You gotta pay $1.75 million back for some. I don't know why Brenay didn't give that man back to that woman from a long time. I'd have gone on my hands and knees. Girl, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, girl. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Take your man. Take your man. Take your man. Take him back, girl. Brenay is appealing, and I don't know how that could go for her, but I'm sure it will go better having a real lawyer if they give her another chance in and of itself. But she is appealing. And Akira recently announced that she's pregnant. Which is a whole nother thing the internet talking about, child. In my mind, I'm like, I don't understand. You know what? I won't criticize the girl. I ain't even get into that. All I can say is she pregnant, and that was a whole nother controversy because she pregnant to some, because again, it's Raleigh. They live in Raleigh. They live in a local, the Akira pregnant for Brenay know him. And so Brenay, she clicked like on his picture or something. And when people was like, girl, why the fuck you clicking like on Akira's nigga picture? Like, why are you being weird? She was like, oh, I already did know him. I already know him. And plus he did like me before. I was like, bitch, what is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? She's a weirdo. She's a weirdo. I just hang my hands up here because Akira, you just finished dealing with a piece of shit man that you have multiple children for. What would make you go get pregnant for some new right now? Why is that a good idea? Also, that needs to block Brenay. He needs to be the one to do it because why Brenay could even be on your things, all things considered. Child, I don't know. I ain't getting in that. This is the story of Brenay and Tim, the internet or TikTok's most hated couple.